Hello, welcome. This is the News Review. French President Emmanuel Macron says that his country look on anti-Zionism as one form of the hate crime.
Anti-Zionism is one of the modern forms of anti-Semitism. This is why I'm confirming that France, who endorsed with its European partners last December, will put forward the definition of anti-Semitism as drawn by the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance.
Macron was speaking at an event hosted by the Representative Council of French Jewish Institutions. He said that a surge in anti-Semitic attacks in France is unprecedented since World War II. Macron promised to crack down and added that a bill aimed at curbing what he called hate remarks on the internet will be introduced by May. His comments came one day after a rally was held in Paris against anti-Semitism. In recent months, France has witnessed a series of anti-Semitic attacks. Rabbi Dovi Feldman, spokesman for Natura Carta International, joins us from New York. We also have James Thring, peace advocate and political commentator, who joins us from London. Gentlemen, welcome. First, let's understand what is going on in Europe, James Thring, when it comes to anti-Semitism. Why has there been such a rise? And we can mention in this particular case in France.
Well, I think even in France and Germany and the United Kingdom, it's very largely linked to Israel's attacks on the Palestinians. They don't only attack them from the air, they kill children who are just innocently and unarmed protesting against their right, the withdrawal of their right to go back to their original homes in Palestine on the other side of the Gaza border. They imprison children, they torture children in prison. These bits of news are not very well known, but they are filtering through. People can occasionally see them on their television screen, and that makes them anti-Israel. And the Israeli lobby is trying to cast any criticism of Israel in the same bracket as anti-Semitism, which of course is a fake.
So does anti-Semitism equate to anti-Zionism, Rabbi David Feldman?
It's a very important point. Now, I have to begin by saying that anti-Semitism is an evil concept, and we appreciate whoever stands up to prevent or stop any anti-Semitism if it does take place in any part of the world, in any part of history. The Holocaust was one of the experiences in that part of history which is so sad and was so painful and is still remembered by just people, not only Jews, worldwide. But to allow an oppression of an entire people, the Palestinian people, because of this accusation that whoever speaks against Israel, whoever speaks against anyone who might be from Jewish descent, this criticism should be considered anti-Semitism, is evil as well. We have to remember that anti-Zionism has nothing to do with anti-Semitism, since Zionism as a concept and the Zionist people, the Zionist movement, the State of Israel has nothing to do with Judaism at all, other than the people who founded the philosophy of Zionism and the people running the State of Israel today happen to be from Jewish descent. This is an embarrassment to the Jewish people from the very beginning to the present day. We have to remember that this is in total contrast to everything that Jews believed in for thousands of years. This is in contrast to the Jewish religion. This is in contrast of the will of masses of Jewish people worldwide. Now, criticizing some crimes being committed, sadly, by people from Jewish descent, supposedly in the name of all Jews. This is exactly what they want to do. They want to present themselves as representations of the entire Jewish people. Criticizing these crimes in no way should be or can be considered anti-Semitic at all. And it happens to be that Zionism is the greatest form of anti-Semitism today in so many levels. They educate hatred towards religious Jewish people who don't align with their policies. They intimidate Jewish people who
Okay. Looks like we may have lost Rabbi David Feldman. James Thring, to round this up, Do you think that Israel and the officials actually are making their decision as to what is anti-Semitic or not, and then placing the blame onto people who are portraying something that may or may not be anti-Semitic?
Yes, they've been responsible for drawing up this Holocaust Educational Trust definition of anti-Semitism, which is obligatory to include examples of Israeli misbehavior. In other words, examples of criticizing Israel. That's something that they include in the definition of anti-Semitism. So by my criticizing Israel for their crimes against the Palestinians, I would be guilty of anti-Semitism. I would counter it by saying that, as Rabbi Dov Feldman has said, the Jews are not represented by the Israelis. They're a different bunch of people. They're rabid nationalists, they're racists, they have a racist ideology, they have an apartheid regime, and they are committing war crimes every day against the Palestinians. So it's perfectly legitimate, in my view, in international law, to criticize, not only to criticize, but to even take them to court, the Israelis. So they can't have it that way. They are bending the law to suit themselves. And Netanyahu, after the caste-led attack on the Palestinians in 2009-10, said to every Israeli ambassador, that's about 150 people in prominent positions in every country, you must recruit 1,000 students and activists to counter all the criticisms of anti-Israel criticisms of Israel that you find on the internet or in newspapers or anything like that. So there's a huge wave of people with probably nothing else to do but watch what we're saying and doing that's critical of Israel, and then countering it by flooding the internet with either accusations of anti-Semitism or saying that there are good reasons to attack these Palestinian people who've got no army, no defense, and very little coverage in the media. So the last people on earth who should be attacked.
Very well. Thank you very much for that, James String, peace advocate and political commentator. And thank you, Rabbi David Feldman, spokesperson for Natura Carta International from New York. And that does it for the News Review.